Bring in more revenue while saving money and differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack vying to win those guests by becoming more environmentally friendly. We will show you how easy it is and how cheap it can be, if not free, and share all the opportunities available. So join us each week as we take another step along the green path. That's one more step to differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack. The Green Path podcast is kindly sponsored by Saskia, the first sustainability certification for vacation rentals that audits homes on their environmentally friendly setup, installs smart measuring tools for water, gas and electricity, and offers an iPad for guests to see their real-time consumption levels. Learn more at sastonica.com.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Green Path podcast. It's said that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but when that old dog is nearly 60 years old and manages 35,000 properties, it'll be fascinating to take a look at what they're doing in terms of keeping the place green. Yes, it's not just the property owners and the small managers that are working on cleaning up the place. It's usually the bigger guys who are way ahead. Today, I'm chatting with Saskia, who will share with us what the Interhome Group's journey on the Green Path looks like. Hello, Saskia. How are you?
Hello, Deborah.
How are you?
Good to be with you. I'm fine, thanks.
That's good. Thank you very much for coming along, and thank you for your time. Saskia, could you start way back and let us know, how did the Interhome Group get started on their green path? Was it something that the big bosses had sort of thought, okay, we need to go on this journey, this is, the new fashion, or was it a staff-initiated thing? Do you know how the journey started?
It's not a fashion thing. I mean, everybody knows about the climate change. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
So we decided we had to do something about it ourselves, and not just talk about it, do something about it. And obviously also from the client side, both the owners and the homeowners we have for the holiday homes, and also the clients who book their holidays in our holiday homes, they both also came towards us and asked, people are asking for it more and more. So roughly 2 years ago, we decided to go on this path. Interhome Group belongs to the Hotel Plan Group, and Hotel Plan Group belongs to the Migros, which is also the biggest supermarket chain in Switzerland. And the Migros signed the Science-Based Target Initiative. So for those who are already doing something for the environment, they will know what it is. It is the convention that took place in Paris. So at the same time, we also signed the Glasgow Declaration for climate action. So to make it in easy words, we signed contracts, or we signed our pass to be more sustainable for the whole company. So it's not just something we'd like to do, it's also something we're committed to. And Interhome likes to be the coolest, the most fancy, sustainable holiday home provider there is. So that's the path we took. It's a long path, but we're on the path now, and it's a lot of fun.
That would be a very difficult journey, I imagine, because you have so many different locations. How does the Interhome Group then take what they're planning in terms of greening the place and take it all over the world to all of your destinations?
Well, it's 27 countries, and we have also own offices in about 13 of those. So we always have to take into consideration all the countries, and not just something that's actual in Switzerland where the head office is. But we need to take care about all the countries. So the easiest to do that is that we have a sustainability team. So there is somebody from all the countries where we have own offices that work with us on this path. So we have somebody local who knows what's going on in the countries.
Right. Wow. And so what are some of your initiatives?
So we started with the easiest way. You can compensate your holiday homestay. So the carbon emissions that are caused during the holiday homestay, that was one of the first things we introduced. It's not the perfect solution. I know a lot of people talk about it, and they're absolutely right, but it is a way to start, and you need to start somewhere. So since the beginning of last year, it's possible to compensate your holiday homestay. Obviously, it's voluntary. So it's not compulsory.
So this is something that you might get a small amount from the guest when they're booking on your website?
Right. So when they book their holiday home, I mean, they can book a dog visit, they could book a baby bed, anything in that direction.
Yeah.
They can also compensate at the same time. So it's in the booking process. It's very important that you see it during the booking process, and you don't make it, something
Yeah.
very small at the end of an invoice. That doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
people need to see it. At the same time, when they see it, they can click on our website and they get all the information where the money goes to, because that's also a very important point. So we work with My Climate, which is in Switzerland the biggest company for compensations and for environmental projects.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a project actually with our mother company, the Migros Climate Fund, we call it.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes back into the Migros chain.
Mm-hmm.
So the money we sent directly from our clients, we sent to My Climate goes into those projects. So it could be anything in the value chain of Migros, the supermarket chain. So it could be for fair production of food, or fair wages, fair conditions to harvest. Could be anything.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. So I think that's actually a really, really great first step for someone to take too. That's not so difficult to set up. Besides, changing to greener energy or something, that's one phone call, but this is actually a very nice first easy step to incorporate your PMS.
And then at the same time, we also had a second, not that easy to find, but a second step, we wanted to do something in biodiversity.
Mm-hmm.
So we looked for a project, for a bee project. I don't know if you know, but without the bees, about 70% of your food would not be on your plate, unfortunately. So we definitely need the bees. So we found a partner in Austria, and I don't know how you call it, we rent per year now 100,000 square meters of bee fields. So this is a farmer. The partner chooses the farmer, and the farmer gives their land for the bees instead of putting corn or growing potatoes or any other vegetables. So we use these fields for the bees, literally for the bees. So the soil is tested if there's anything toxic in it or not. Then the seeds are carefully chosen, and the seeds are all local. So it's all local plants. We don't take these seeds from anywhere in the world, so it has to be local. It's a lot of variety because there's a lot of bee varieties and also other insects that can profit from it. So the farmer then plants all these seeds. Then you have the beekeeper who comes with the beehives, and twice, so he can take the honey. And then the wild bees, they come by themselves, and the honeybees, some of them are put there as well because they don't live that long. So they're also put there. And then twice it's harvested. So all the grass is cut. The farmer can keep that. We do that twice, and the rest of the year, the fields are left to the insects. And that's a project we have in Austria. And we went to see it last summer. It's very fascinating. So we have different fields to get a total of 100,000 square meters, which is quite a lot. So we visited those fields in the high season for the bees, in the summer season. And it was really fascinating to see, because not only on the fields where the beehives were still there, but also on the fields where they had taken them, it's a lot of insects. So you really literally walk in the middle of hundreds and thousands of insects. So it was very fascinating to see how they really loved it. So it's a paradise for the insects.
Isn't that lovely? Okay, that's a really nice feel-good story about one of the things that you could do. Oh, that's lovely.
But it's a good story. It's a feel-good story. It's something you do for the insects. But obviously at the same time, I mean, the bees have a very positive carbon impact. So that's the aim behind it. So you help the survival of the wild bees and the honeybees. And at the same time, you do something good, and it's something that makes sense.
Oh, that's lovely. And my big question to a company as big as yours would be, how do you do the properties actually? Are the properties greening themselves up? I mean, are the owners coming on board? Are they doing something to the properties, or is it all at the Interhome Group level that you're doing something in terms of becoming?
No, obviously that's also a path we have to go.
Yeah.
So we defined, we looked at labels first. Now, if you look at sustainable labels, you end up with around 200. Now, you can imagine if you have 27 countries and every country has its own label. So on our website, we would just be labels next to the pictures of the apartments, which is not really reasonable.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons we decided to have our own. So we defined 12 attributes we think are important for our holiday homes to be sustainable. So this is the Interhome sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have 7 of those, and it's the purchasers that test them, obviously, they talk to the owners, they go to see it, whenever they take a new property on board, they will also go through this list. So it's all checked by our own people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have 7 out of those, we will give it a green tree. So the holiday homes will get a green tree. That's not online yet. So if you look at Interhome at the moment, you will not see it, but you will be able to see it within the next 2 months.
Uh-huh.
So we will put a green tree next to our holiday homes we rent out that are Interhome green, Interhome sustainable.
Yeah.
So you will also be able to select sustainable holiday homes, which makes it easier to find, obviously, for the clients.
Yeah.
And the request for it is really, really growing. And
Oh,
the
right.
points, so the points we have, some of them are obvious. Is it the green heating? Is it the green energy? Do you have solar panels? Do you have photovoltaic systems on the roof? These kind of things. But also important is inside the houses. So, for example, if the toilets and the showers are water efficient,
Mm-hmm.
so not the whole flow goes out, but is it regulated in a way?
Mm-hmm.
Then no one-way. No one-way plastic in the apartments.
Yeah.
And another important point is the e-charging stations. So a lot of people start to arrive by e-cars, and that's also a very large request. So we also take care of that. So we also ask them, all of them, if they have an e-charging station, and we'll check if there's an e-charging station somewhere around, so that people can really arrive with their e-cars and have no worries about charging their car.
Yeah. I was going to ask if you've had much inquiry for
Yep.
green properties. So that's great that you've
It's growing a lot. It's growing a lot. And
great.
we also did some surveys, and you can see that it's really, really important to our clients.
Wow.
So it is growing. It's fast growing, and I think it will, what today maybe we think is not common yet, will be completely normal in a couple of years.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Now, out of your 35,000 odd properties, do you have any idea how many have applied for the tree?
At the moment, it's the vice versa. So we go towards the properties and we check them. So yeah.
Okay, so they're not asking to be to get the tree. You're
not yet, but I mean this
instigating
is a start. So
Yes.
you're really maybe a bit early for a podcast, but we just started this.
Yeah.
So obviously it will also be vice versa.
Yeah.
And I mean it will be spread. It will be spread by us, of course, but it will also spread by us very fast. And
Yes.
I'm pretty sure if some people will see that their neighbors or people in the area have already put something green, changed their heating, have solar cells on the roof, they will get interested and they will get in contact.
Yeah. It will be very interesting to touch back with you maybe in 6 months' time to see what sort of data you've got from the tree and click rate, booking rates, anything, any sort of increase, because there's another platform, Holodoo. They also have a badge, and they said that they get a higher click rate and a better conversion with those ones with the sustainable badges. So in 6 months' time,
we will be very curious, but we definitely hope it will have an impact.
Yeah.
And since the clients are really asking for it, I'm pretty sure it will have a positive impact. And it will also, one pulls the other. So if homeowners will see that they get more bookings because they did something green for their holiday home, that will also get a sort of a snowball effect.
Yeah.
And of course, recycling is also a very important point, that you're able to recycle.
Yeah. When you approach an owner, if they're not doing anything yet, do you advise them, okay, if you do these 7 things, you'll be able to get a tree?
At the moment, when they're checking, yes. But I mean, that will also be an approach. We'll have to see in detail, that's still to come, how we approach them actively, even more actively. It's already active now, but how we approach them more actively.
About educating them.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's very important that you don't point on someone.
No.
So you take the positive effect. So you don't tell somebody you're not good because you're not green, but go the other way around. I mean, it's something we're doing for everybody. Everybody is doing something for the tourism and for sustainable tourism. So we want to take them on our path and not just leave them behind because they don't do something.
Yes, of course.
Well,
That's
very important that you don't feel guilty if there's a way you can't change something. I mean, we don't own those holiday homes. So we can't literally change something ourselves. So we rely on the home owners to understand that it's important for tourism. That they change something.
Well, you won't be doing any finger pointing when you show them the data that says the house with the tree gets more bookings.
That's also something people, many times they think sustainability is just costing money. No, it's not. So if you do something good and the clients react on it, it can also get a lot of value for your rentals.
Yes, absolutely. Now, we know that being sustainable is all about environment, but it's also social and things like that. Are you with Interhome Group, are you just looking at the environment, or are you doing some social aspects as well?
Social aspects will follow, but we started with biodiversity and the climate change, the carbon point. As I said, we're on our path, but there's a long way to go.
Well, I did see on your website, and this is another very, very important thing. You've got a great page on your website. I initially thought, oh wow, these are the properties that are green, but no, it's about your sustainability.
Not yet. Soon, very soon.
But it's great that you explain what you're doing with the links to the bee project and the biodiversity project. Fantastic. You're really advertising what you're doing, and we try to encourage everyone to make sure that they put it on their website and really advertise what they're doing along their green path.
I mean, that was the first 6 months. So the first 6 months we wrote a concept, because you literally start at scratch. There's zero. There's a lot of things going on, but you need to define it for your own company, because every company is different. And in tourism, even in tourism, companies are different. We don't sell flights, others sell flights. We have holiday homes, so it's not the same. So you can't go the same path. So the first couple of months we defined, I don't know if maybe you've seen the wheel on the website. So we defined our own wheel with the 7 chapters we want to take care of. So that's where you also see the biodiversity with the bees. Then you see the carbon, the climate change with the carbon. At the same time, of course, we're also checking our own offices. So we have about 100 own offices in these 13 countries. So at the moment, we're also checking those on sustainability, of course, and checking what we can do to get them more sustainable. From changing the heat to get another electricity energy supplier, could be anything. So we're also very strong in this at the moment. So it's you're on your way on different paths, not just in one direction. And as you said, the social aspect, of course, will also come.
Well, I mean, you've definitely set the commitment by signing the Glasgow Treaty.
Yes.
And so I saw on your website that you want to reduce your emissions by half by 2030.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's a challenge.
Target, and then net zero by 2050.
That's what the agreement says. I mean, a lot of people in this world have signed this agreement. And there's a lot of talk about it, if we can reach it or not. I don't know. I don't see it that much just to have this aim in front of you, but I think it's a path we all need to go. And does it really matter if it's 6 months before or after you reach the goal? I don't think so. I think the important thing is to really get action and to move something, to move forward and not just talk about it. So it's set. It's a very challenging goal. I'm not sure personally if everybody will reach it or if we will reach it. We don't know. It's a long way to go. I don't really look at that every day, but just we look to move forward. To have the aim in the head, of course, but to move forward and to do as much as we can at the moment. To provide a sustainable holiday home tourism.
It's a journey.
It's a long journey. So,
and it doesn't matter where you're at along the path or along the journey, as long as you've taken the first step.
That's right.
And
it's also something you need to take everybody on board. So another important thing is to take your own staff or all the colleagues on board. So communication is also an important point. As you already said, we communicate on our website. I mean, that's also a start we have. So there's a lot more to come. But you also need to take the own people from the own company on board. And there it's really cool to see that since almost 2 years, there's a lot of change. It was a huge question mark for a lot of people. But now people are really on board and we're all pulling in the same direction. And that's also, it's very important, but it's also very motivating. So you all go in the same way.
Yeah, it's a little bit like herd mentality, I think, because one person is like, well, I don't know look, even me, I don't know about sustainability. But, I start the podcast, I talk to other people, and all of a sudden I'm part of the herd that's all moving along together down the path. So I think it is one person alone, okay, might be a bit tricky, but as a group, get all your staff together, and all of a sudden you're all moving along the path together.
Yeah.
I think
Sustainability also affects every aspect of a company. It's not just, it's not just the buyers, or it's not just the clients, or it's not just the marketing, or the finance. It goes really in every department. So people need to work together and to be on the same path. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And with the homeowners, I mean, if the homeowners are not interested, we will have to find a way to convince them that it's a good thing to do.
Yeah. I think once you start getting some data about the properties with trees getting more bookings, I think it'll be a no-brainer in the end. I think
I hope so. I think so, and I hope so. But I mean, it's not online yet, but we will see very soon. Yeah.
Yes, and I think once homeowners start realizing that they're going to get left behind, having the resources there to help them become more green, get them, give them the link to Enviro Rental to get them going. Anything like that. I think it's all, I mean, there's such a pool of resources now brewing to help everyone go along that journey together. Yeah. Yeah.
And you can also learn from other people. Like if you talk to other companies, it's also a question about, do you get a network with other holiday home providers? Because we all go in the same direction. Even you might be competitors in about the bookings, but I mean, in the end, you all want to provide a cool holiday so for the clients. So we all go in the same way. And you can also profit, like, questions about e-cars. It's not... They've been here for a while, but they've not been here for 50 years. So how do you get to an e-charging station? What is the most reasonable thing? Do you build your own? Do you convince the homeowners to have a wall box, or do you convince them to, how can you charge at the holiday home? So all of these questions.
And
once you start, it opens, one question opens another one. So
yeah, but it's lovely.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah. Saskia, we're going to wind up the interview right now, but is there anything else that you feel that you should share with us about Interhome Group sustainability path?
I mean, have a look at the website. Come and visit and see. I mean, there's not just sustainability.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of variety of cool holiday homes you can have, and now even some more sustainable ones. So yeah. Yeah. Come along and see what we do.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll touch base again later on this year and see how you're going with the trees and see if there's any data that you can collect from there and share with us. And I think that will be really fascinating. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for having the opportunity to talk to you.
Yes. Thank you very, very much for your time, and we'll speak again soon.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode and were at least a little bit inspired. If you'd like to catch up on the other episodes that you've missed, just head to thegreenpathpodcast.com. See you next time.